is Anthony, and you are joining us this morning for the MidMorning BreakRoom. With me, I have Tommy the Bargain Effect, Craig Landshark Pickers on his way, and we have a special guest this morning, Nate Every Day I'm Hustlin. If you guys haven't already subscribed to him, his link is down below in the description. But I do encourage you to, because he puts out a lot of great content. He knows a lot about reselling. Actually, part of the reason we have him on today is because of our title. He's going to be helping me grow. But I want to go ahead and give Tommy and Nate a chance to introduce themselves.
Yeah, it's Tommy the Bargain Effect. I believe most people know me in here. Anybody that's new to the chat, thank you for coming in. Just your average everyday flipper, man, buying at auctions, thrift stores, online, local grocery store, trying to find things of value that are underpriced and sell them for a profit online.
Hey everybody, it's Nate. Every day I'm hustling. Happy fourth quarter. This is what gets me excited about reselling. The buying season, selling season is here, and I sell on Amazon and eBay, and I also try to snipe deals on Facebook Marketplace. Part-time reseller, hoping to go full-time soon.
Nice. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome some people in. First person this morning was Steven Scroggins. Good morning, my man. Followed by this Landshark picker guy. I don't really know who he is. He kind of looks like a troll. Kelly, the Ecom Mom Ward. Rump Stump Reseller. What's up, Jamie? Good to see you. Alabama Thrifter. Good morning. Diane Matthews. Welcome, welcome. Andy, the Good Life. Good to see you, man. Siosa Sales. Good morning, Lisa. Reseller Man, how you doing? Michelle Lathan, welcome in. DC Sales, the master of the license plate. Good to see you, D. Lot of Josh. Good morning to you, Josh. Glad you're here, man. Good luck packing them orders. Hopefully you have a lot. Morning, Mary McQuain. Good to see you. Yeah. And to Flip It, good morning. If we missed anyone else, feel free to say hello and be sure to greet you. But the topic for this morning is, do you have plans to grow? And essentially what I mean by that is, do you have plans to grow your business? So I guess I'll start. I do. Hey, Teams Flips, good to see you. I do have plans to grow the business. And one of the reasons I wanted Nate here is because he's actually going to assist me in growing the business. But as a lot of you guys know, I've already started with the expansion of the business. Good morning, Bad Dog. And basically that started whenever I took a PayPal working capital loan. And the reason I decided to do that is just by watching other content creators on YouTube. I was really inspired by Justin over at RVA Flips whenever he got that big Funko Pop deal. And I was thinking, man, that's awesome. But I would never be able to take advantage of that full deal that he took advantage of just because I didn't have the cash flow at the time. So I ended up taking a PayPal working capital loan. First thing I did with it was I traveled to New England to go stay with Derek and literally went sourcing like all over the place in several different states. Came back with a ton of inventory for Q4. And now I'm just currently working through it, trying to get as much of it up on eBay as possible. Sorry about that. I'm a popular guy today, I guess. So yeah, I'm continuously getting it listed and working through that. And the next phase of expansion is me and Nate are going to connect. I'm going to have him and his family over for dinner, and he's going to kind of walk me through getting set up on Amazon and kind of help me pack my first order, just so I do it the right way and I don't get stuff sent back, or, you know what I mean? Just so it's not a headache, because, doing a new platform could be stressful. It's just nice when you have a fellow reseller living in the same city as you that you can kind of, lean on each other for help. So Nate's going to be helping me get into Amazon sometime within the next couple weeks. So, and I know Tommy has plans too. So I guess I'll jump into him next.
Yeah, I do. I'm continuously trying to grow, and create multi-revenue streams. But as far as the online selling, I have like a 15-year plan to actually turn it into a sellable business, not just make it so I can resell and be comfortable, but I want it to where at some point when I'm ready to be done with it, that it's actually would be able to be a sellable business to somebody else. An established online, wholesale accounts, everything's set up where basically somebody could turn key and take it over.
That's awesome.
That's my long term, and I can walk away with some money to live out the rest of my glory days.
That's awesome, dude. So essentially, you're going to resell the business.
Yeah, that's the end game.
That's awesome. I actually had a investor that I talked to early on, who's a good friend of mine, who had suggested eventually turning what I do into a resellable business as well. I just haven't really put any plans forward with it because I'm light years away from that. But yeah, that's just like you said, a 15-year plan. I think 15 years would be doable.
I have some medical stuff, and I figure I got a good solid 15 before it's going to become real difficult for me to So that's why I'm working on a 15-year. I'd like to bust my butt for the next 15 years and then live out the rest of it on the easy life.
I don't know about I could see the your merch and stuff like that being a really easy turnkey business. But how would you guys exactly make it so you would be able to sell your actual business of reselling, like your eBay or Amazon, basically? Like, what would you guys do differently than what you're doing now so you'd be able to do that exactly?
Well, I want to convert more from thrifting resale into more of a wholesale type of business where I'm dealing with new products. So there would be wholesale accounts. There would be I want to get a warehouse in place within the next couple of years, and have a staff, and it would just be like any other type of store that you would be able to sell. It's just would be based online.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were going to go more towards the wholesale side. But yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I want to deal with a lot more replenishable merchandise. I want my merchandise to ultimately come to me instead of going out chasing it everywhere.
Right. Yeah,
it would become more of a volume game than a profit game.
Right.
The lower margins, higher volume instead of the lower volume and higher margins.
Right.
Morning, Shad Juice.
Yeah,
day's going well after that beating last night.
That's exactly
the nicest way possible.
Yeah, I was at work while the game was going on, and it was 10-3, and then I went outside the warehouse to go do something, and I come back, it was 27-3 or something like that. I'm like,
yeah,
holy cow, what did I miss?
Yeah,
it happened pretty quick.
It's like the battle of the cellar dwellers of the division.
Landshark says you can't sell an Amazon account. I don't believe. I have already checked into that. I've already checked into eBay. You can't per se, like Anthony wants to sell me his account. You can't do that. But if it's established as a regular licensed business through all the proper paperwork, yeah, you can actually sell and transfer your business, your Amazon accounts and eBay accounts. There's just certain ways it's got to be done to be legal.
Don't beat me too bad, Kelly.
Yeah, that's what my goal is through Amazon, is to get more wholesale, because my time is so valuable. You know what I mean? With working a full-time job to, reselling on eBay and on Amazon. If I can get some of my product wholesale, and not only that, it opens more doors, for more brands across the board and categories, then that's only going to increase my profitability on all my, different avenues. Because if I'm bringing something wholesale, I might as well put it up on eBay as well, unless I'm only bringing in a small test batch maybe for Amazon or whatever. But I mean, anything you bring in wholesale, chances are it's going to be in the top, say 10,000 or whatever, if you're going to bring it in. You know what I mean? It's going to be something that's going to be, hot and in stores everywhere, and you're going to get it at a pretty reasonable price, to be able to make smaller margins. But that's what Amazon is for the most part, unless you're getting some really good RA or OA deals. It's a volume game where you might spend $5 or $10 on an item. Say you might only make $1 or two, or $2.50. You're not making that double, but I mean that's usually what I make. Like when I purchase the item, I'm usually doubling up on everything. But the prices do tank a little or drop, so I always give myself that room to wiggle, and be competitive, and to make the sell and kind of get out before it really tanks. Or sometimes I hold. So but yeah, that's one thing that I want to do. I want to get the wholesale game going. Um, like I said, go across the board. I mean, I have access to a warehouse, 15,000 square foot warehouse that I can
Nice.
use. That's in my town, like literally like 5 blocks from me, that I have access to from a family business. Um, so I'm not gonna have to like try and squish in my house or anything like that. Just basically I'd have to come up with an agreement to borrow some space or rent some space from my dad or whatever from his business. And he even has it where, because his building used to be a shopping, like a food shopping store.
Hmm.
Like, so it's wide open. It's not a bunch of like individual rooms. It's like a big warehouse basically. They blew it out, all the walls and everything. So if I actually took some of that space, I can actually open up a retail brick and mortar like storefront. Because my idea was to um, do like almost like a pack and ship for my city. So like Christmas time or everything like that, where I got all the supplies and all the stuff anyway, and I can give discounted rates, cheaper than the post office would be able to do, and make a few bucks on the packaging and stuff like that. So I do that, and put some of my stuff, that maybe some wholesale stuff or some thrift stuff in the storefront to generate some stuff. But my business would always be probably at the most, or at the least, I would say 75% online, 25% uh, you know through the store. That would be my goal through for what I want to do right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I plan on getting into some resale here in the new year as well. I have some contacts with getting, some bulk wholesale Pokemon cards and stuff like that. And I do really well with that stuff, so I'm really looking forward to kind of expanding that route as well.
Yeah, trading cards do really good. Pokemon for sure. That and Magic the Gathering has made a comeback, I hear.
Yep, for sure. Good morning to Moronic Pest, BK Vending and Flipping, Cody Bruh, Justin Jacobs. If I missed anyone else, just let me know.
Are you all FBA, Nate, or do you do some merchant? Do you fill some of your stuff yourself too?
I do really small amounts on merchant fulfilled. Mostly like on certain items, you can't ship it FBA to Amazon for various reasons. Like one would be like it's like a chemical, or I've seen some office supplies for some reason you're not allowed to ship it FBA. I guess because of the compounds or however it's made or whatever. So um, that's stuff I'll do FBM, and I'll put on eBay as well. Just because I have it here, I might as well try and sell it on both platforms.
Right.
But yeah, it's literally 99% FBA. I just love the hands off aspect of it, and it gains me to be able to focus on eBay when I want to focus on eBay, or if I have a bad week at work, where I'm like crushed, then literally I can focus my time where it needs to be.
For sure.
Right.
Welcome in Fishing and Picking, Marco, Paul Gates and Picker, and Damn Flipping Grooters. Rebecca, good morning.
Critters.
That's why I always told Anthony. I said, with him starting Amazon, he loves the garage sales, he loves the thrift stores, he loves, all that stuff. He doesn't have to give that up to do Amazon FBA. You know what I mean? Like I showed you a picture in the Facebook group yesterday. Like one day I'll source, and I got all those items sourcing, and then the next day I ship. So it's kind of a 2-day process, but you can spread it out if you want. I do it on my days off.
Yeah.
But he could do that however he wants. Source a little bit every day or whatever the case is, or just ship make enough for a box or 2 boxes. Now the one thing that you'd have to realize sometimes is sometimes they'll split your stuff into different warehouses, so you can't build one box worth of stuff and just make an order, expect it to go out all the time to one warehouse. And that happens a lot to me because I don't go deep, so they don't have me divvied up at different warehouses, but that does happen.
DC Sells asks, how hard is it to get started in FBA, and which did you do first, merchant or FBA?
I did FBA first. I thought that was the easiest, especially for my situation. But if you want to do the merchant, I mean, it's basically based on preference. You know what I mean? If you went with a free account, for example, and just wanted to test the waters and throw some stuff in merchant field, you could do that. But if you think you're going to sell more than 40 items, you most definitely want to get the professional account because of the fees, and go from there. I mean, there's no answer, for sure answer to go with for that. It's based on your preference as a business, as a business owner, what you want to do. But I love FBA. I usually get a little more for my items, and they usually sell faster, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with too, just because I'm already out of space. So I need to get stuff out of here.
Right.
So that's my goal, is to get into that. What's up, Craig?
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late.
What's happening, man?
So Justin, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's right. I was going to say I've been listening in the car, so
cool.
I'm up to date.
Justin Jacobs just asked, he picked up some Magic the Gathering cards the other day for cheap. He's never dealt with any, but it was too cheap to pass up. May have to get someone's expertise. Dude, if you tune in on October 10th, next Thursday, we have a guy named Aaron coming on, who is literally, that's what we're going to talk about, is playable TCG cards and how to make money on them. So I have a couple Magic cards. I don't know much about Magic because I never really got into playing it, but he should be able to help out with that too. So hopefully you have time to tune in for that.
If it's older stuff, I played Magic the Gathering all the way up till Stronghold, I think it was, that expansion. So if it's older stuff, I definitely know about if it's good or not, but I wouldn't know exactly what the price would be because that stuff fluctuates like crazy.
Are the Magic cards just like Pokemon, where they've got a number that it's unique? I know some of the Pokemon.
No, I don't see any kind of number unless I'm wrong.
Huh. Oh well.
I don't know.
So we've been talking growth. I'll inject my thoughts there. I struggle with, do I grow wide or deep? Do I really concentrate on the eBay, Amazon, and get as deep as I can in those areas, or do I talk about Poshmark very little, but I did an experiment there, didn't really like it. Does it get to the point where it's just really worth my time to explore these other platforms? So I kind of struggle with the deep versus wide. Because would I be better off doing a much better job on 2 platforms than doing a half-butt job on 10 platforms? But again, everybody's different. That's just kind of my take on on that situation.
Okay, I see what Jamie's saying. She says it has a symbol in the middle of the card for Magic the Gathering. That would be like right here.
On the old ones, they don't. It just really you have to know if it is or not. But yeah, on the newer ones, they definitely do. Yeah, the gold's rare, silver's uncommon, and black is common.
Harlan just gave a big time tip. You can scan Magic the Gathering cards with the TCG Player app, and it will tell you the value. You have to put the cards on a white piece of paper before you scan. That is awesome.
Yeah, that is.
And I would download that app, man. That'll get you going big time, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harlan. I appreciate that.
And that'll be good education, because if you find ones that are worth something, then you can kind of make a mental note, and
For sure.
don't have to. And I think that's the key to a lot of stuff like that, is not having to look up the same things over and over and over again.
Right.
Building that internal database of items that you pick up. You can apply that to any item.
Yeah, on the cards, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of Magic the Gathering cards. I mean, and they all range from like probably up close to $1,000 to $5 or 10 cents. So it's crazy the amount of stuff that's in all these different brand sets.
Is it Magic the Gathering has the Black Lotus, or is that Pokemon?
Not Magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Pokemon.
Magic has Black Lotus. I had one back in the day. They had a set called the Power 10, and it's basically like the most expensive cards or the most powerful cards. And I had them all, and then I went to a convention out in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, and I sold them all.
Now, when it comes to cards, I'm totally lost. That is an area that I know nothing about. But like with your Pokemon cards and your Magic cards, does it work the same as like your sports cards? Is condition just as important of a factor with those?
Oh yeah,
it does.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing too. There's a whole nother sect to these type of cards that a lot of people don't even really put into account, is the fact that there's competitive play for Magic and for Pokemon. Like there's conventions, there's world championships, like there's hundreds of thousands of people that competitively play the card game. Whereas with sports cards, it's just something pretty to look at. You know what I mean? Like it's a collectible. Whereas like these cards are also something pretty to look at. They're also collectibles, but there's like an entire game that people like obsess over. That it's that's a revenue stream.
That's why I was asking, like, was it the condition or what the card is capable of doing in gameplay that makes it valuable?
So yeah.
Okay. I'm totally lost when it comes to that. We were at the bins the other day, and there was a box, I don't know, probably about the size of 2 shoe boxes put together, full of like baseball and football cards and everything. And Joseph was all like, "Oh, Dad, we should get these." And I was like, "Oh, I know nothing about them, so I'd have to research every card one by one, and I ain't got that kind of time."
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is it's almost like specializing in what you know. I used to be really big into competitive Pokemon. That's why I've done so well with selling it, because essentially my eBay was just a hobby platform for me to buy and sell video games and Pokemon cards. You know what I mean? Because I would be selling off my old stuff that I didn't need anymore for new stuff that I wanted. So that's just kind of like why I gravitate more towards video games and Pokemon stuff, is because like it's the stuff I know. Hey, good morning, Kelly, hip flipping mama. Hey guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor. Oh, that's Nate.
Yeah, don't slow me down.
You can see her in the chat. She's getting super close to 1,000 subs, and I really want to help get her over that barrier. So if you would, go ahead and show her some love.
Yeah, most definitely. Show Mama some love. She's awesome.
She is awesome. Dude, I saw that cup you sent her, man. That was cool.
Yeah, my girl, she knows, like, everyone that I'm friends with and stuff like that. And she's like, "I want to make her something." I says, "Okay." So I was like, she was asking me a couple questions, and I asked Kelly a couple questions, and that's what my girl made. And it was I just bought her a turner, so she definitely wanted to try it out. So it was just a great thing to make her and send out there and stuff like that.
So how did she make that? Like, you have an actual thing that makes cups?
Yeah, you get a cup, and then you basically put stuff around it, like a certain compound. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's epoxy or something like that. And then you put glitter or whatever, and then you put like a clear coat finish, I believe, on top of that. And then you have a machine that actually spins it, basically in circles and circles and circles. Really, like, I guess it's not real fast or anything, just so it doesn't get any runoff or drip, like,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean? So because it's doing that, it makes a super, like, clean and smooth finish, because it's not getting in that drip, where you would if you didn't have that.
Gotcha.
And then we use a Cricut machine for, like, the lettering and the decals and stuff like that, vinyl cutter or whatever.
That's cool.
So that's kind of what you're going to be doing too, Tommy. You're going to be doing stuff like that as well.
Yeah, well, we're actually gonna sub-laminate, like, our cups and stuff, which works a little bit different, but it works a lot of difference. But you're gonna end up with kind of the same results. It's just with vinyl, you'll feel like you're vinyl, and with the sub-lamination, what it does is it takes your ink, turns it into a gas, and embeds it into the pores of whatever you're putting it on.
Okay.
So it's like a smooth finish versus a textured finish.
Okay.
I knew you could do it with clothing. I didn't know you could do it on other items like that. That's pretty cool.
You can do it on clothing, but I think what we're gonna do is go with we're not gonna use the sub-lamination on the clothing. It's kind of a horse apiece. With sub-lamination, it'll last longer on clothing, but the colors are nowhere near as vibrant. Right. If you go the other printing route, you have more vibrant colors, and we're talking about like color prints. You have more vibrant colors, but the lifespan on it isn't as long. And then you have your HTV, which is your heat transfer vinyl, which you would cut just like with what they're putting on their mugs or cups, but then you heat press it onto a shirt.
Right.
That's good for like one or two colors. You get more than that, then you're putting layer upon layer of vinyl, and then it just gets nasty.
So talking about all that stuff and talking about growth and the whole deep versus wide. Tell me what's your intention on your business? Are you wanting to do 25% of that kind of stuff? Are you wanting to try and do more of that stuff, a higher percentage of that stuff? What's the plan?
What we actually want to do, like I say, I want to focus on my eBay and start up the Amazon, and that's primarily going to be my focus. Destiny is going to do more of like the merch style stuff, but that is actually what we want to build and train the kids to take over and let that be their business eventually.
That's cool.
So it's kind of like starting from the ground up, where they can see, and they're learning with mom how to do it, So
that's awesome that you're teaching your kids at such a young age to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
they both are very into it. I mean, today, we decided to extend our stay one more day, and they both were like, "Yay! Can we go to the bins today, or are we going to the thrift store?" They like the bins because they like the dig. They're into the digging, and they're not just at the bins looking for the toys. I mean, they're looking for anything that they feel is of value. And Jaslyn's got a natural eye for it.
That's awesome.
She spots stuff and she'll bring it over to me. I won't even know what it is, and she's like, "Dad, I think you should look this up." And it's like, "Oh shit,"
That's awesome.
And the good thing about some of this business, if you teach them down to some of the different levels, is you can use some of that stuff for school credit when they're homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talking about the business side, basics of accounting and cost of goods.
I mean, there's a lot that you can apply to their homeschool, because there's math, there's percentages they're working with. there's marketing that they're learning. There's a lot that can roll into it for their school credit.
That's one thing I wish that a lot of schools would do more of, is that, I hate to call it real world, but that's the best way I know to explain it. That real world teaching, Get out there and show me how to run a business. Teach me how to, ship an item, the things that potentially could impact my life, Obviously learning all the stuff that you learn in the classroom is important, but a lot, I know they do some of that with all the skills and stuff,
Right.
like trade schools and stuff, but I don't see a lot of the, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to apply it too much to our business specifically, but
It would be nice to see an entrepreneurial type of thing put into schools too, especially once you get to high school level. Because even if you look at, for example, the show Shark Tank, you will see kids high school age on there doing stuff. I've seen kids younger. You know what I mean? Like the kid that did Moe's Bows, you know what I mean, or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was a young kid, and he's making great money. Like he's probably making more money than the four of us put together, just because he had a knack for it young. It would be nice if we can groom more young people, because look at it this way, and this is going to be kind of a stretch, but not really in my eyes. I don't even know if I should say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Look at a kid who's young who turns to drug dealing to make money. What's the big difference between selling drugs and selling what we sell? Obviously, drugs are sometimes addictive, yes. But the stuff that we sell at times is stuff that are necessities for people to live. You know what I mean? And there's a bigger demographic for the stuff that we sell. You know what I mean? So if we could teach these kids that would turn to selling illegal substances to earn money, especially in poorer communities where they're struggling just to eat or to keep the electric on or the water paid, if we could teach them how to make a living buying and reselling stuff that we sell, everyday items, I can only imagine how much that would improve the demographic moving forward. You know what I mean? Imagine how much lower prison prison populations would be if there'd be less people looking to buy and sell drugs and more people looking to, hey, I could just go down to the Goodwill, spend $20, flip it for $200 online. You know what I mean? Like, and it'd be honest living.
Right. And they're already kind of on the right thought process of it, because they already know how to find an evergreen product that's replenishable, which is a step up above a lot of us. Right.
Well, and they all have a business mind about them, apparently. Because they're buying low, maybe not as low as we're buying some stuff, and they're selling high. And that's the whole idea behind retail of any product.
For sure.
Like I know in my area, it's very bad, that the war on drugs and, people getting addicted and stuff like that. And at first I didn't put my personal, like YouTube stuff on my personal Facebook, but that's part of the reason why I am now, because there is people that I know that, have went to jail, or maybe even their friends or whatever, that these people, that's all they know. Not that's all they know, but that's all they, if they can't go to college or go have a job, then that's basically all they know, is because of the things that they see. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a cousin or friend or brother or somebody basically in our area that has some type of connection in the drug game. And it's sad, but it's just the truth. And if I can help one of these people, quit, to stop that chain, or to pass some knowledge along, even though it might hurt my chances of thrifting something, I would do it tenfold to help somebody, because it's a terrible situation.
This way, Nate, we've gone sourcing together and we've never stepped on each other's toes.
No,
you know what I mean? There wasn't even a time we were both reaching for the same item.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that there's more than enough, just with various backgrounds, You know what I
Right.
mean? Be able to show people different things. And honestly, like I feel like a lot of the reseller community gets a bad rap. You know, as people that don't want to work or people that don't want to do this. If people really knew what we do, they would be like, wow, they actually work harder than we do at our 9 to 5.
Right. Yeah, it's very similar to what we do. You know, the drug stuff and this stuff. It's
But
similar.
even if
You
it's
know.
not resell, teach them how to take whatever talents they have and turn that into a business.
Right.
Because if you look back into like the early days of humanity, you know what I mean? When we were first, even the early days of America, right? What did people do? They came over from various parts of the world with some kind of a skill set, and they used that skill set to turn it into a business and to capitalize for financial gain. You know what I mean? Like I've watched this documentary a couple years ago called "The Making of America," and they talk about all of these business moguls that started basically from nothing. You know, they came poor from another country, and then they, you know, built up this American dream, right? And anybody can do that. You know what I mean? Like going back to like the very beginning of each civilization, somebody needs to provide goods. You know what I mean? Why can't you?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for example, Jordan, the DG picker, you know what I mean? He has skills to like paint cars and to work on cars and stuff like that. Wherever you are in the world, that's a skill set that he can use to make money. You know what I mean? So we all have various skills that we've picked up over years of life experience that we can put to making money. You know what I mean? To starting our own business. For example, I used to be a lister for somebody on eBay, and I used to do all of his flea market stuff. And essentially, whenever my church closed and we were in need of financial income, I was like, wait a minute, I already know how to make money. I don't have to worry about going and punching a time clock. I'll just go clean out my basement and I'll start that way. You know, so it's possible for anybody to get out there and to make a living just doing what you know how to do.
Right.
Well, I think thinking along the lines of being an entrepreneur, thinking in that entrepreneurial mindset, starting a business, whether it's reselling or whatever, you think of, you know, what do I want to do? Well, you get out there and you identify a problem that exists, whatever that is. Talking about the drug game. People need drugs. That's a problem. Not from a moral standpoint. I'm saying there's an issue there. And you fix that, you fix that problem. You offer a solution to that problem.
Yeah.
You know? You're talking about Pokemon cards. The problem is that people are looking for Pokemon cards. Go out there and source those, sell those, you know. Same kind of thing with anything you do and, you know, starting a business, not even sales related, you know. You identify a problem was the wrong word. Maybe a need, you know.
Yeah.
The word problem may have been a little strong there. You find a need and you find a solution to fill that need.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, it's the whole supply and demand model, you know.
Exactly.
Like
for example, a couple months ago, a friend of mine who's from Rwanda, he's a pastor. He was in town and he was asking me questions because he sees what I've been doing on eBay and YouTube, and he goes, "Man, like the even the amount of money you make right now on eBay, I'd be a wealthy man in Rwanda." You know what I mean? And he's like picking my brain with how to do this, how to do that. And then we sat down with another friend of ours, and you know the crazy thing for them to go get a like a chicken like you would get at like your grocery store, like a rotisserie chicken, they pay 3 times more than we pay here in America for a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
So the idea was, well, why don't you take the money that you've saved up through your ministry, through your church? He has a school there and everything that he started. Why don't you just go buy some chickens? You know what I mean? That way you could sell eggs. You could then, you know, sell even chickens, you know what I mean, down at the market, and you could totally undercut everybody. You know what I mean? So right there, just the idea of being able to provide chicken to people at a cheaper value than what it's currently going for just because there's not very many chicken farmers where he lives in that village. You know what I mean? Like to me, it just blew my mind. Like, okay, so you're telling me that somebody in Africa has to pay 3 times the amount as we do in America, where typically things are more expensive here because obviously we have an inflation in cash. You know, so it just blew my mind that chicken would be that expensive in Africa, especially because I visited parts, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't really, in fairness, I didn't really eat much meat where I was because the places that sold meat would kind of have them hanging out in the streets and like flies and stuff would be touching. So like literally I lived off of Pringles for 2 weeks. But parts aren't like that, you know what I mean? But it's just insane that it would be 3 times the amount. It just blew my mind. But just something that simple, like, hey, start raising chickens. You know what I mean? Like, we could, you know, help you set up this business model, and then you could just send some people from your church down to the market every day and, you know, sell eggs, sell chicken, and that's something that people need and want.
Well, it's almost the same model, exactly what we do, you know, in our businesses, you know?
Yeah.
Find a need, find a good low price for something to meet that need and offer it.
Yep.
You know, it can be applied to multiple areas.
Yep.
Multiple locations.
Yep. And I definitely think business is something that it needs to be better taught to people. You know what I mean? I feel like the way Americans are raised, it's to, you know, and I can't remember if it was Jordan or somebody just said this in a video recently. You know, my morals and the way I was raised was to grow up, get a 9-to-5 job, and stay there till I died. I think it might have been Jordan's video yesterday or day before or something like that. But that's the way most of us are raised. You know what I mean? Like, for example, my mom, she's been working at the same hospital since I think 6 years before I was born. You know what I mean? And I'll be 35 on Sunday. So it's like 40 years she's been grinding away at this same hospital and the same job. And I think that's the way a lot of Americans are raised, is to do something like that. Whereas imagine if more people thought entrepreneurially. Imagine instead of making set amount of dollars and being capped at that, imagine doing what you do for your full-time job as a business and keeping all the profits for yourself. You know, like I said, I used to do this listing and flea market stuff for somebody else, and, you know, I'd be lucky to make a fraction of what I make now. And I'm not even balling all like that. You know what I mean? But I still was making less than I'm making now. Sometimes you just need to step out there and think, well, you know what? If I can do this for somebody else, I can surely do this for myself.
Right. But I think society over the years is ingrained in our heads, like you said, that it's I go to high school, I go to college so I can go to work for somebody else. Yeah. Everything you learn is to do a job for somebody else, typically, I think, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's
the reason one of the big reasons we homeschool is because of the way I felt kids are being taught. And they want you to grow up and be smart enough to do a job, but they don't want you smart enough to ask why you're doing that job.
Right. I agree, definitely. I'm using the Common Core math as an example. You know, sure. In the end, does it matter that I had did this way or that way? The problem is, did I get the right answer? I really struggled with that, and I'm just using that as an example. You know, I don't like Common Core, but, you know, I'm not getting into that. But my daughter would say, "Hey, help me with this math." I'm like, "Okay, do this, do this, do this." And she's like, "No, I can't do it that way. Wait, this other way takes you an hour, and you get the same answer. Why not say 45 minutes?"
Right.
You know, but that's just one example. You know, and it's definitely, I don't know, it's tough. You know, times have changed a lot over the last 15, 20 years when it comes to schools.
I don't know one reseller, full-time reseller, that's in the business that we're in that hasn't had this response that Dee's getting from some of her family members. I think it's scandalous that you don't have a job, that you know, and that's the thing. Like, you do have a job. eBay is your job. You know what I mean? Regardless of what people think, this is a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like, I have a guy who a couple years ago we met. He was a guy who used to come to my church, And this is before I even got into eBay full time. He would come and he would be like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to just sell on eBay." And I was like, "Cool." And I said, "Well, what makes you want to do that?" And he goes, "Honestly, I just don't want to work. And I think that if I, had good enough stuff on eBay that I wouldn't have to work. I could just kind of list stuff and then just sit around and have the average, lifestyle that I'd like, where I can play video games morning to night and blah, blah, blah." It's like, man, I love video games. Like, it's one of my favorite things in the world. I barely play them right now. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't even been able to make time to do my video game series on YouTube, and I consider YouTube part of my job. You know what I mean? So it's like, you work more than people give you credit for. Like, and people close to me, like people close to anybody who does reselling can tell that this is a grind, this is a job. And the thing is, if you don't grind, you're not going to make money. You're not going to survive unless you're willing to work your butt off in this. And you know what I mean? Like, I have my wife, I have my mom, like, basically call me daily, like, you need to get out of that basement because it's going to kill your back. It's going to kill your hips. You know what I mean? Like, because I'll literally sit here morning to night most days and list, I'll edit content, I'll do whatever, you know what I mean? But then there's some days, because I do that, I can't even like really get out of bed. Like last week we had a day like that. I couldn't be on the show because I was just feeling like warmed over dog poo from pushing myself so hard. But unless you do that in this line of work, you're not going to be successful. But either way, there's always going to be people who think, oh, well, they don't wake up every morning and go punch a time clock, so they're not really working. And I don't know why that's such a stigma. I think that as the YouTube community continues to grow, and as people continue to see the stuff that we're doing on a daily basis, that stigma will kind of go away. At least I'm hoping, as we trend more towards our lifestyle being more open and prevalent to people, that they can see that we actually probably work harder than they do at their jobs.
Well, and it's hard work that you're putting in your own pocket, and I think that's why it takes a different mindset. There's advantages to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I think with this kind of business, your profits, your income is purely driven off your efforts.
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
If I got a 9 to 5, for a certain period of time, I can go in there and not do my job and not do a thing until they and I'm not saying I do that. I'm just, saying,
yeah.
I could go in there for a month and not do my job and potentially still get a check at the end of the month.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's not as easy as people think it is. It's not as glamorous as a lot of people put it out to be.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more self-discipline than I anticipated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But by the same point, it's like you said, you're working for yourself. So every bit of work you put in puts money into your own pocket. Right. And honestly, like most of us, we love doing this. You know what I mean? This is what we're interested in. You know what I mean? We love picking. We love the thrill of the hunt. We love being able to turn something we paid next to nothing into something that we're making like high profits on. You know what I mean? So it's something that we enjoy. So for me, a lot of times it doesn't feel like work. I mean, for example, the sitting here listing all day, sometimes that gets monotonous, but I switch it up. Like I'll watch YouTube videos. I'll watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll stream shows that I've been missing, on Xfinity on demand or whatever. You know what I mean? So I try to keep it interesting in any way I can. Sometimes, for example, like if I'm working, like maybe a month ago, or before I left to go visit Derek, I was reorganizing my basement. I was trying to put in a inventory system, and I was just chatting with Nate on on a private hangout. So sometimes it's helpful to be able to just mix up the monotony of, basically being trapped in your dungeon all day.
I think Tommy needs to go back to his dungeon green screen that he had before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Game of Thrones too. I like that.
I completely agree with what Lonnie's saying here. Self-discipline is key, and not giving an F, seeking validation within. Exactly. Absolutely. And you know what? It it's awesome when you can be proud of what you do. You know what I mean? Like I've heard guys like Justin say it all the time. I'm proud of what I do. You know what I mean? I think that's why most of us have YouTube channels, because we are excited about what we're doing and we just want to share it with people. You know,
Right.
I've always said that I don't know the most. And it really doesn't matter the size of your YouTube channel. You can grow from anybody. For example, Nate's still in the 100s as far as subscribers. He's going to teach me Amazon. You know what I mean? So you can learn something from everybody, regardless if they have 100,000 subscribers or 100 subscribers.
Right.
You know? So,
Absolutely.
and I really suggest anybody go and check Nate out, because he knows his stuff. I've been out picking with him. You know what I mean? And, you know, you can tell when you go out sourcing with somebody if they're full of crap or not. I can tell you he's not full of crap.
COS Cell says the funny thing is, if you open a brick and mortar, no one says those negative things. And in my mind, you know, just trying to step back from it, trying to understand the difference of approach between doing what we do and you know, opening up a store, open up a grocery store, open up a game store, open up a whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? You know, trying to think like somebody that would say that this is not a real job, you know, as compared to those other ways or anything else you could do. You know, it's, I wonder if that's just because the eBay, you know, environment was just originally brought up as a casual seller, you know, where places that sell things like a yard sale, you know. I wonder if it's just coming from that history, because, you know, that's kind of how eBay was formed, you know.
Well, see, a lot of people have the thought process, if you have a job that doesn't require you to be at a particular place at a particular time for a set amount of hours, it's not a real job.
Right.
You know, that's the way so many people think.
Yeah.
I hear all the time, my buddy, he's like, hey, you should get a real job. And I'm like, what? Like, you go out there pouring concrete, breaking your back, bitching about the weather all the time. You're out there pouring in the rain and this and that.
Yeah.
How sore you are to bring home your $550 a week? No, thank you.
That's how I even started reselling. Like I got hurt from work and I'm sitting home and I watched YouTube. And I caught, you know, Global Voodoo, and then I found Lonnie, and then I found Bearded Picker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, you know, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, I need some income. I gotta flip something and make some money. You know what I mean? Like, making $1,200 every 2 weeks wasn't good enough to be, you know, for my family for 6 months or whatever through Christmas and all that. So, you know, that's where I started. You know what I mean? That's why I started. And
Absolutely.
I'm happy I have, because, you know, in my business, like Tommy was saying, it's a pounding. You know, I'm working in a warehouse, I'm pounding on concrete floor, I'm picking up 1,500-pound items and throwing them around all day, and my body's already started to deteriorate some. So,
Yeah.
like, that's part of the reason why I want to take this full time, because I don't want to be that guy who's 50 years old and can't even get off his couch, or, you know, can't get out of bed or in a wheelchair, can't enjoy my kids and family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I can gain some income now from doing this, even if it's on a part-time variety, and that does happen, at least I know I can live a nice life and be able to provide for my kids and have the help with their college or whatever the case is, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just tough, man. Like, working a 9 to 5 is, you know, everyone's different, has different jobs, but I know with me, it's a pounding. It's rough, and I just want to enjoy life the best I can. And if I can, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I taught my family, you know, I learned from my family business and stuff like that. So part of that hustle and that entrepreneur was embedded in me at 5 years old.
Yeah.
And watching my dad, you know, grow up and go through the ups and downs of business, and I learned his customer service and stuff like that. And, you know, it was stuff at that time. I thought it was cool because I was with my dad hanging out, but in the same sense, it's like what I'm doing now with my kids, where they're watching me and they're learning from me little by little, to maybe they'll do this when they get older and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's priceless, the little things, even at a young age, that you show and help your kids, like Tommy's doing with his kids. You know, it's priceless, man. Like, you don't know the value you're giving until later on, and then you'd be like, wow, I'm glad I did that, and that's why I'm happy I'm doing what I'm doing.
I wonder if we're going to see a shift in the thought process of that. And I'm kind of still in my mind thinking about that. This not being a real job, is that a product of? I know I'm older than a lot of some people in the group, etc. But my parents' generation, of hey, you got a job at a whatever place you're working, you stayed there for 50 years. That's the way my parents thought. That's the way my dad is 70 something years old. He worked for 3 pharmacies in the how many years he worked. I think that was just their generation. As we move into other generations, it's already getting away from that. In the IT industry, that's the way it was, at least, and that's all I can speak about. But I wonder if we're going to see that with that younger generation. That's really a funny way to say something, but the newer generations coming in, is there a change? Going to see more of an acceptance for this kind of business versus you need to go work at U.S. Steel for 30 years and break your back 7 days a week. Yeah. Is it because it's generational?
I think a lot of that is kind of like old school thinking. You know what I mean? I think that as we as people continue to advance, and we're in the information age too. So I firmly believe that we are all basically showing people the truth of what this lifestyle is about, and regardless of what people think, they can see for themselves. Like, I don't know anybody that can watch, like, for example, like a Lonnie video, and they see him in his shed, pulling all them mortars, packing all them mortars. Like, I know from experience, packing all them mortars takes a long time. You know what I mean? And most people don't have that amount of work to do in a day. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with reselling is, like, your job's never done. You know what I mean? It's not like even like a brick and mortar where, okay, the store closes at, 9:00. There are some nights we could be, listing to 3-4 o'clock in the morning just because we have that much work to do. It's not something that you can just shut down, and for example, a brick and mortar, that's like, not saying that that's bad because some people do really well with them, but for the most part, like retail's like dying right now. A lot of stuff's going online. You know what I mean? And it's becoming that type of society where people that are growing up now, like people that are like millennials, like they'd rather just go to Amazon, like, to order stuff. Even the people that go to Walmart now, they're doing the curbside pickup. You know what I mean? They just roll up to Walmart. It's already in their car because they went through the internet to place their order. You know what I mean? So I think that going forward, like, there's going to be a lot higher value placed on e-commerce than, the brick and mortar. And I think that there's going to be a lot more respect brought to what we do just based upon different people's videos and different people's just putting that out there, what they do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Good. I think the big thing with how the growth of, online shopping and the curbside pickup and stuff like that is the experience of going to the retail store and the time it takes. People want things now, fast, and they don't have to hope to have it. They want it. That's what it is now. And it's crazy how things change, say, 10 years ago to now. Like, what is things going to look like even 5 years from now? Is there going to be just grocery stores, or are there going to be grocery locations where people are just going to pick up stuff at the curb and go, like, where we don't even go in the stores? It's going to be all warehouses and basically everything shipped to your house. Is that what it's going to be? And if they do have a retail location, is the price going to be like crazy insane because you need it right this second and you can't wait 2 hours for it to be picked and go to the curbside? You know what I mean?
I mean, look at the Uber Eats, the DoorDash, that's
exactly what Kelly was just saying.
All that kind of stuff,
I use DoorDash more than I care to admit.
But I think we're quickly becoming a society that is willing to pay up for convenience.
Yes.
You look at Amazon Prime example. All those delivery services. You may pay the same price, but you're going to pay a tip. You're paying for convenience. It's getting to the point where time is money. And there was something said in the chat, and I wanted to address it real quick. Myra Lane says the point is to make money to support yourself and your family. What does it matter if you work 9 to 5 or not? The intention of that discussion was not to say that this is better than a 9 to 5. You know, we always talk about what's best for you. One size doesn't fit all. You know, I think we were kind of defending the thought of why people are discussing why people think this is not a real job. You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't to say that having a 9 to 5 is bad. Everybody's got different situations. You know, I don't think our intentions were to attack the people that work a 9 to 5.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Not at all. I mean, we have disadvantages of being a reseller too. I mean, we don't have a job that's going to provide insurance for us. We don't have anybody that's going to match a 401k. I mean, there's negatives of it too. You know, in my position, there's more positives than negatives.
Right. But everybody's got to look at their own situation. You know?
Yep.
This business isn't for everybody.
You know, I have another friend. He's a regional of Dunkin' Donuts, and he says, I'd love to do what you do, but I can't give up my insurance. So that's why he stays where he's at. It's not even about the amount of money he has. It's about the insurance plan he's got.
Yeah.
Right. And getting insurance from the whatever you call it now is not cheap. You know?
No, it's not.
Especially if you got a family. You know, individual coverage isn't bad, but you know.
That's a great show topic that DC Sales has suggested. What can eBay do to win back shoppers? That's actually something I might schedule at some point here soon on one of my days. Because I was watching a video yesterday. I'm not even sure who the person is. I've never seen him online before, but it was a video about Amazon FBA. And this person had, over 1 million some views. So not saying because, or 1 million some subs, not saying because they had that many that their information's correct, but they threw out a number that 50% of all money transactions on the internet go through Amazon.
Yep.
So just seeing something like that, and all money that goes through the internet goes through Amazon, 50%. That's such a huge market share when you consider we're not just talking about like selling platforms, buying platforms, all money that goes through the internet, 50% of it goes through Amazon. That was like a staggering number to me. That was like an eye-opening number to me. So that may be a good topic, D. What can eBay do to win back some shoppers?
Yeah, definitely. Paul Gatesy Figure says, next big thing. And I've actually seen this. Someone who comes to your home, fills your car with gas so you don't have to go to the gas station. I don't know if it's down at the residential level, but there is a gas truck in a business that runs around our town. And I think it's something Fox, something like that. And they will come fill your car up.
That's awesome.
And I'm not talking about just a little, AAA that will bring you a gallon of gas to get you where you need to go if you run out of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're very quickly becoming, or we're already a society that pays for convenience.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about just we want a product. We want a product with a service. It's what it comes down to. Fast shipping, or do this part for me, or whatever. Pick it up.
and damn it, we want it right now. If not 3 minutes ago.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I think a lot of that kind of can go back to as well. Not just like laziness, but people can get so consumed in what they're doing that they would rather just have the monotony things that they have to do in a day just handled for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I could just click a button on my phone and something that I would have to put physical energy to would just be taken care of, I would much rather do that if I had the means to do so.
Right.
Look at Amazon. I can really see Amazon taking it to a different level. I was watching Scott's show this morning. They were talking about data and all that, and Amazon. Amazon is not just a platform for sellers. Amazon sells cloud infrastructure. They're an IT. They're a huge IT company. And they can't. Did y'all ever see the little Amazon buttons that you could like reorder your Tide Pods, and you just push the button and it automatically ordered it?
Yeah.
I could see them getting to the point, because Amazon has so much data, that replenishables like your toilet paper, your paper towels, your soap, that they, I ordered this, and you probably have to opt into this program, but have it where you ordered these products, and I know the life of product X is roughly 2 months. I'm gonna go ahead and order it for you when I think you're about to be, run out of that. Kind of taking that to the next level. That I don't even have to go push that button. It just knows that you should be reordering this in about 2 months.
Too bad.
Kelly Ecom Mom says, and I just seen this commercial last night. We're sitting out by the pool and the TV was on. Is you can buy cars online now, and they'll deliver them to your house, or you can go. They said this car vending machine, and it'll spit out your car for you. Pick it up at a vending machine because nobody wants to go to the car lots anymore. And me personally, that wouldn't work for me. I gotta sit in it and check out comfort and see how it goes down the road. But there's some people that are just like, nope, I want this car and I want it now, and they're gonna have it delivered to their work or their house or whatever. It's like, wow.
Plus, if you're a reseller, you want to haggle.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I don't care if it's $1. I want to get it down.
It is funny. My mom took me when she was getting a car a few months ago, and here I am strolling in, just like lowballing the heck out of the salesman.
1% over cost. No, how about 0.5% over cost? Cars are a racket,
Mm-hmm.
They'll, I don't know. It's a tough market. They're not going to sell a car at a loss. It's just, just is what it is. I think it's going to be tough to see that paradigm shift from the brick and mortar to e-commerce, because there's so much infrastructure in the world around the brick and mortar,
Well, and it can still be a both and type of thing. Like I
Right.
think Walmart's adapting to that right now. They're trying to make it as easy for the people that would just rather order online as possible. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Walmart shift into some kind of a online thing as well. Like they already do sales on their website, so maybe in the future they increase that a little bit.
I know one thing. I hate going to Walmart and they're supposed to have something or something I actually need, not even resale related, and they don't have it. And then it's like, well, that was you waste time, you waste money because you got gas involved, and you could have ordered it online and got it the next day anyway, but it's not here.
I've definitely determined that Walmart's inventory systems are crap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
I don't know, with it being a retail establishment, there's so much shrinkage that's going to be out there, from theft and.
Yeah.
But did you guys see the new Walmart robot, inventory robot?
I have, yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Where he goes down the aisles and scans them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could see that happening in a more of a warehousey type environment. I wonder, like you were talking about, I wonder if we're going to see more of that. Not the Costco or Sam's.
Hospitals now.
Do it.
They even have those like little robots in hospitals now.
Yeah, they like disinfect rooms and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy to see all the stuff that like robots are getting into now.
Yeah. Well, there's so much from an artificial intelligence, machine learning, all that kind of stuff that can be applied to that, and it'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of that stuff being mainstream is not that far off. It's not as far off as we think.
That's how the Matrix started with all that AI shit.
Exactly.
You can take that red pill or that blue pill.
Yeah.
Then they got smart and took over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's what's going to be the new thing. Like it's going to be warehouses and same day shipping in areas. That's the only
Amazon's
way
already
some of
doing
these
same day
places.
in most areas.
Yeah, that's the only way these places are going to be able to compete with Amazon.
Yeah.
For eBay, I don't know what they would do to try and unless they gave resellers, like the top sellers, like a super cheap discounted shipping rate or something, that were like they could offer like how Amazon offers like Prime, give all their people free shipping for a month or whatever, and give us all like discounted shipping rates somehow or free shipping somehow. that would be the only way I could see like them combating with Amazon without, they're supposed to go FBA or they do their own fulfilled, but I don't know.
That's pretty cool. Paul says he's getting a drive-through convenience store. You don't even have to get out of your car to get a 20-ounce Pepsi. That's awesome, dude.
We have one of those.
I would like for like the DoorDash to be able to like stop and like pick you up other stuff on the way. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to pick me up like a Big Mac from McDonald's, why don't you stop and grab me something from the store on the way? You know what I mean? Like that'd be super cool.
I think it's Florida has drive-through liquor stores.
Oh wow.
Yep. Huh.
Yeah, we have like beer distributors around here you can drive through and stuff like that.
We have, yeah. I was gonna say we have them too, but then I realized that we're in the same city.
Yeah.
Huh. It won't be long before we'll just sit in our chairs 24 hours a day and everything will come to us.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's going to be. We're going to be people like trapped in our houses and don't want to leave. We don't need cars anymore.
You don't have any reason to leave anymore.
Right. Customer service jobs will be the newest, biggest thing. And everything from home and, you won't even need cars anymore.
We're going to be like the Jetsons. We're going to be flying around in airplane.
Like Rocket Man with a backpack and fly around.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Exactly. You think back, 20 years, who would have thought that we would have had same day delivery on items or, or 2-day delivery or even the internet would be around,
Right. I mean, the amount of money in the infrastructure of Amazon is just insane. All the warehouses and how they have everything set up and how they spread products around from all the different sellers. So it just makes sense, and helps make that promise easier, It's crazy.
Yeah, I think if anything drastic happens with this kind of stuff, Amazon's going to be the first company to make that leap. I have a feeling, I think everybody's up there, but I think so many of them are years behind where Amazon is,
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll see, it'll be interesting to see over the next 5 to 10 years. Lord willing, I'm still around.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But,
Cool. Seems like we're starting to, wrap up here. So, any last thoughts you guys have?
No, but I would like, got a show topic in mind, but it's something I'd personally like to learn more about. So if somebody would be willing to come on the show and that has experience with like going through finding a VA and how they like vet their VA and what they actually have them do to lighten their load is something I'd like to learn more something about.
Yeah, I'd be interested in learning about that too.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody in chat that has a VA, reach out to me and maybe we can have you on and talk about that a little bit. Because I know you can go to, what is it, like different sites and hire VAs, but how do you know which one to pick? How do you verify what they can do? The whole process I want to learn about.
I think on some of the sites they have basically like a feedback thing, just like eBay or Amazon, where they get feedback from different people and stuff like that. I know that I went on Fiverr to get a video done for one of my intros or whatever, and that's how I based it on. It was a new guy, and I seen he had 5 stars and he was cheap, and I was like, sounds good to me.
Feedback is tough, in my opinion, because there's so many ways to take advantage of it, Not from a standpoint of, if I had bad feedback on my account, I could go do work for nothing, or go buy feedback, or it's tough. It's becoming a tough market because it's so easy, like using eBay's feedback system, for example.
Right.
If I get 10 negative feedbacks, I can go buy 150 1-cent items and get positive feedback on every one of them, you know, and hide that. I don't know. I just think I'm not dispelling what you're saying. It's just the whole access material has become almost laughable sometimes because it's so easy to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more. I guess it depends on what you want your VA to do. Like if you're going to have him, you know, like basically list stuff for source or whatever. Like if it was sourcing where it's not connected to anything, you know, to me other than him sending me links or something, like that's something I would love to have someone help me do or a VA do. And you know, it would make, you know, take a lot of the time out looking for all these websites and stuff like that, like items and things like that, where I don't have to give them any of my passwords or anything like that. So it's more of a comfort level for me. Like, you know, anybody can send me links and stuff like that and say, hey, this is a good deal, basically. But if you have them like connected with your company where you're, you know, you're giving out emails and stuff like that, where now eBay has it, I guess they have, you know, where you can give them ones where it gives you limited access to your eBay account or whatever. So it kind of protects you in that way. So you don't wake up and all your items are not listed and they're all deleted out of your, you know, store or whatever. That would be really crazy. But yeah, you would, I mean, definitely that, depending on what you want, you definitely want to have some word of mouth or somewhere to go.
Paul Gatesy Picker says they have 3. I know Scott did a show talking about a company that does all the vetting of VAs. Obviously, the difference with that company, and I'm not pushing them or saying they're good, bad, or otherwise. To get a company that stands between you and the VA, you're not going to pay that $3-4 an hour, you know, or whatever. I don't even know what the going rate is for people like that, but you're going to pay a little bit more because they're vetted, they're, you know, they're backed by this company, etc. You know, it's, you know, VAs can be good or bad. You know, it's another one of those one size doesn't fit all, you know?
Yeah. Have a good day, D. Make some money.
I think that's, I haven't gone that route, so I don't know what, I couldn't offer any assistance either way on that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But
any parting words from you, Craig?
No, I apologize for being late. Duty called. I had to go play Uber Family, but
no problem.
Yeah, everybody definitely appreciate everybody showing up this morning. I really enjoyed the chat. I mean, I think it's, you know, we didn't just deep dive into something that happens on eBay or Amazon. It was more of a high level or, you know, kind of discussion. I think it's going to be more fun to do some of those type shows where it's not just X's and the O's of eBay, you know. So I really enjoyed it.
I did too. How about you, Nate?
I'd just like to say thanks everyone coming out. Thanks to the guys on the panel for letting me come on. It's always a pleasure, and it's always fun. And you know, I love talking about business and you know, hanging out with you guys in the chat and everybody. So have a good day, and hope everyone makes a lot of sales and find some good stuff.
And if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Nate. Every Day I'm Hustling. Also subscribe to the people on the panel because it is a rotational show still. We're still working towards that one channel for the show, but as of right now, it's still a rotational show. So make sure you're subscribed. Tomorrow we will be on Tommy's channel. And today at 2 p.m. Eastern, I'll be having Bible study on my channel with Hip Flip and Mama and John from Nevermore Antiques. Guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Until tomorrow, guys, take it easy.